I was thinking about how much we all here in Ashley County love our local history,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the stories of our towns and those special places that really capture that history.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, the Rose Inn in Crossett is a perfect
Oh,
example.
for sure. A real landmark.
And when you think about the man behind it all,
Yeah.
E.W. Cap Gates and his wife Rose,
What a vision they had.
it's inspiring, right?
Yeah.
To see how much they cared about making Crossett something truly special.
Absolutely. It's a legacy that still resonates today.
So today on our deep dive, we're going to take a closer look at that legacy.
Sounds fascinating.
We're going to delve into the story of the Rose Inn and explore the vision of Cap Gates.
I'm excited to uncover those details.
Me too. And to do that, we've really immersed ourselves in a whole collection of incredible sources.
Oh, wow.
We've got historical accounts from the Posey collection,
Great resource.
some really fascinating stories in Wilderness Lady and Cap Gates Tent City.
Those are classics for sure.
And of course, we've got firsthand reports from the Forest Echoes
Can't forget those.
and those precious memories shared in Reflections of Ashley County.
Those personal accounts are so valuable.
And last but certainly not least, the comprehensive details in R.R. Reynolds' The Crossett Story.
A true deep dive into Crossett's history.
Exactly. So we've gone through all of that to bring you the most compelling and insightful parts of this
It's
journey.
a journey through time.
So let's start with the Rose Inn itself.
All right, let's set the scene.
Now you have to remember, Cap Gates didn't want Crossett to be just another rough-and-tumble sawmill town.
Right, he had bigger aspirations.
Oh, he definitely did. He envisioned a town with refinement, a place where families could thrive and feel a real sense of belonging.
And the Rose Inn was a key part of that vision.
Absolutely. It was meant to be a symbol of permanence and a commitment to a higher quality of life.
I can see that.
So imagine for a moment stepping into the Rose Inn when it first opened in 1912.
Wow, what a moment that must have been.
Right. This grand three-story structure built from local lumber.
A testament to the town's growth and progress.
Exactly. It was described as a sanctuary of refinement, the beating heart of Crossett in those early days.
I bet it was buzzing with activity.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine that grand lobby with those warm oak-paneled walls.
Beautiful.
I know, right? And those soaring high ceilings and that huge fireplace, just casting this inviting glow over everything.
I can almost picture it.
You can just see those early town leaders gathered there discussing the future of Crossett.
Making those important decisions.
And travelers arriving from all over, feeling that sense of anticipation.
All within this elegant yet welcoming space.
Exactly. It wasn't just a place to stay, it was a statement.
A statement about Crossett's aspirations.
And of course, it was a tribute to Cap Gates' wife, Rose.
The namesake of the inn.
I mean, that personal touch really speaks volumes about the values he held.
It does. It shows how much he valued family and that idea of creating a stable and nurturing environment.
Right in the heart of this bustling new town.
It's a lovely sentiment.
And you know what else really adds to that sense of warmth?
What's that?
Well, every account mentions Mrs. Rose Gates herself.
Oh, really?
She was known for being a constant presence at the inn, making sure every guest felt truly at home.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know, right? It's like she was the heart and soul of the place.
It sounds like she really embodied that spirit of hospitality.
Oh, she definitely did. And then there's the dining hall.
Ah, yes, the food.
Imagine local farmers and lumbermen sharing tables with traveling salesmen and town leaders.
What a mix of people.
I know, it's amazing, right? And they were all enjoying this incredible food.
What was on the menu?
Well, they were famous for their fried chicken
Oh, that sounds delicious.
and those light and fluffy hot biscuits and thick slices of ham.
Wow, a real Southern feast.
And it wasn't just the locals who loved it. In 1961, Ford Times magazine actually featured the Rose Inn.
No way.
Yeah, they highlighted it for both its amazing cuisine and its warm hospitality.
That's quite an honor.
It is.
It
really shows you how the Rose Inn's reputation extended far beyond Ashley County.
put Crossett on the map.
Now, here's a detail I bet you'll find interesting.
I'm all ears.
The third floor of the Rose Inn wasn't just for regular guests.
Oh, really?
It actually housed a lot of the town's unmarried school teachers.
Interesting. So they lived right there in the inn.
They did. And get this, they had to follow some pretty strict rules.
Like what?
Curfews expected decorum. They were really held up as role models for the community,
Wow, that's fascinating.
isn't it? It really shows you how important education and proper behavior were in early Crossett.
It definitely highlights their values.
It's like they were saying, we're investing in our teachers and we expect them to uphold a certain standard.
Makes sense. They were shaping the future generation.
It wasn't just about education. It was about creating a strong social fabric.
I see. A community where everyone was invested.
And the Rose Inn was at the center of it all.
It was more than just a hotel.
It was the social hub of Crossett.
The place to be.
Imagine town gatherings taking place there, the joy of weddings celebrated in its halls, and those important meetings where they made decisions about the town's future.
Those must have been some lively discussions.
And then there were the Christmas parties, New Year's Eve celebrations, formal dances.
So many memories made there.
It's true. For many residents in those early days, the Rose Inn was the backdrop for the most significant moments in their lives.
It really was the heart of the community.
It was a symbol of Crossett's identity.
And it helped shape the town's character.
But you know, every great story has its twists and turns.
Oh, I bet this one does.
In November of 1913, less than a year after it opened, tragedy struck.
Oh no, what happened?
A devastating fire swept through the Rose Inn and completely destroyed it.
Oh my goodness, I can't imagine the heartbreak.
It must have been devastating. This brand new symbol of Crossett's progress reduced to ashes.
All that work and then gone in an instant.
And you know, fires were a constant threat in those days.
Especially in lumber towns.
For many towns, when something like that happened, it was the end.
They just couldn't recover.
But Cap Gates was not a man to give up easily.
He sounds determined.
Oh, he was. The very next morning after the fire, he declared that the Rose Inn would be rebuilt.
Wow, what a statement.
I know, right? It's like he was saying, this fire may have taken our building, but it won't break our spirit.
So they started rebuilding immediately.
Within weeks.
That's incredible.
They used the original foundation and the same blueprints.
You're like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
It really is.
Yeah.
It shows the incredible resilience of the community.
They weren't going to let this tragedy define them.
Exactly. They had built it once, and they were determined to build it again.
And they did.
A year later, in 1914, the second Rose Inn opened its doors.
What a triumph.
It was more than just a reconstruction. It was a symbol of the town's grit and determination.
A testament to their spirit.
It showed everyone that Crossett was a town that could overcome adversity.
And come back stronger than ever.
It's amazing, right? And, you know, to fully appreciate the Rose Inn, you have to remember the context.
What do you mean?
Well, many sawmill towns back then were pretty rough places.
Yeah, I can imagine muddy streets, saloons of a very transient population.
Exactly. But Cap Gates had a different vision for Crossett.
He wanted something more refined.
He wanted a town where families could settle down, put down roots.
And where industry and a sense of dignity could coexist.
Precisely. And the Rose Inn, with its grand scale, its modern amenities, its fine dining, it was all part of that vision.
It was a statement, a symbol of what Crossett could be.
And naming it after his wife, Rose, added that personal touch.
It showed that this wasn't just about business, it was about creating a community.
A community where people felt valued and cared for.
That's beautiful.
And it created this fascinating contrast in early Crossett.
How so?
On the one hand, you had the roaring sawmill, this symbol of industry and hard work.
The backbone in the town.
And on the other hand, you had the Rose Inn, this oasis of refinement and elegance.
Quite a juxtaposition.
And it worked. They weren't mutually exclusive.
They actually complemented each other.
You had those strict rules for the school teachers on the third floor promoting decorum and good behavior.
Setting an example.
While downstairs, business deals were being struck in the dining room and stylish travelers were arriving by train.
All under the same roof.
It's that blend of industry and refinement that really makes Crossett's story so unique.
It's a special combination.
So the Rose Inn thrived for decades.
It sounds like a golden age.
It really was. After it reopened in 1914, it entered what many consider its heyday, a period that lasted well into the 1960s.
Wow, so for over 50 years.
Imagine the sounds of couples gathered around the piano in the lobby, filling the air with music and laughter.
What a lovely image.
And those lively conversations between teachers and town leaders shaping the future of Crossett.
The minds behind the community.
And those weary travelers finding rest and comfort as they journeyed through South Arkansas.
A welcome respite.
And remember that 1961 Ford Times recognition.
Oh yeah, calling it one of America's great taverns.
It really speaks to the lasting appeal of the Rose Inn and its impact on the wider region.
A true gem.
But as times changed, so did the needs and expectations of travelers. That's inevitable, I guess.
By the 1970s, the Rose Inn was starting to struggle to keep up with those modern demands.
It happens to the best of them.
It's true. And sadly, in 1973, the difficult decision was made to close its doors.
Oh, that's sad.
It is. And shortly after, in 1974 and 1975, the Rose Inn was demolished.
It's the end of an era.
It is. And this time it didn't rise again.
No Phoenix this
It
time.
makes you realize how much things have changed.
And how nothing lasts forever.
But thinking about the Rose Inn makes you really appreciate the scale of the logging operations that built Crossett.
It must have been massive.
Imagine those trainloads of lumber arriving at the mill day after day.
Endless timber.
It's estimated that they were harvesting a huge amount of forest every single day.
To keep up with the demand.
And it wasn't just the Rose Inn that was built with that timber.
What else?
The Opera House, the hospital, the businesses downtown, countless homes.
Wow, the entire town, basically. And it's interesting to think about how that early logging eventually led to the development of sustainable forestry practices right here in Ashley County,
A shift in thinking
from just taking resources to managing them responsibly.
for the long term.
Now, the Rose Inn wasn't the only place to stay in those early days.
Oh, were there other options?
There were those early boarding houses that sprung up to accommodate all the workers.
It makes sense. They needed somewhere to live.
And there were actually 2 Crossett hotels before the Rose Inn.
2.
Yeah, but both of them burned down.
Oh, wow. Those fires were a real menace.
They were. The third Crossett Hotel, built around 1903 or 1904, was a bit more permanent.
Tell me about it.
It was 2 stories tall, gray, with white trim, had these lovely porches and a piano in the common room.
Sounds charming.
And it had a well-equipped kitchen, too, so it was a popular gathering spot.
Real social hub.
And then there was the Beanery.
What a funny name.
I know, right? It opened around 1920, and it was a more basic lodging and dining option.
But still important.
Oh, absolutely. It was another social hub, and it eventually became the Crossett Community House.
Interesting evolution.
And then there were other boarding houses like Ma Boyd's, and later on tourist courts and motels started popping up.
It's amazing to see how the town grew and changed.
And at the heart of it all was Cap Gates.
The man with the vision.
He arrived in 1901 with this incredible determination to create something special in Crossett.
And he wasn't deterred by challenges.
Not at all. He even faced a period of blindness, but it didn't stop him.
Wow. That's incredible.
He had this deep love for the land and a real desire to make it better for the people who live there.
He was a true pioneer.
And he was instrumental in founding the Crossett Lumber Company back in 1899.
So he was involved from the very beginning.
Oh, yeah. And his own homestead, built in 1903, was the first 3-story house in Crossett.
It must have been quite a sight.
It was, and it became a center of social life in those early days.
I bet they hosted some amazing gatherings.
And Cap Gates was a big baseball fan. He even used it as a way to build community spirit.
He understood the power of sports.
He did, and there's this great story about him acquiring a bunch of disbanded circus animals.
No way.
Yeah, imagine the delight of the local children.
That's hilarious.
And the whole Gates family contributed so much to Crossett's development.
They were truly invested in the town's success.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
And there are all these great anecdotes that really capture Cap Gates' personality.
Like what?
Well, there's one about him telling someone to build the fuel house, plenty large.
Okay.
And when he saw how huge it was, he just chuckled and said, "Well, I reckon that's plenty large, all right."
He had a sense of humor about it.
He did. Yeah, all of this really ties back to the Rose Inn.
It was an embodiment of his vision.
It represented that spirit of refinement, community, and resilience that he and Rose brought to Crossett.
A lasting legacy.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, it's clear that the Rose Inn was so much more than just a hotel.
It was a symbol of Crossett's past, present, and future.
It represented Cap Gates' ambitious dreams and the unwavering spirit of the community.
And even though the physical building is gone, its story continues to inspire.
It reminds us that progress and refinement can coexist with industry and hard work.
And that challenges can be overcome with determination and a sense of community.
And as we think about the legacy of the Rose Inn, I have a question for all of you in Ashley County.
All right, let's hear it.
What new jewels are being built today?
What do you mean?
What projects, what initiatives are carrying forward that spirit of progress and community betterment that Cap and Rose Gates so strongly embodied?
That's a great question. It's something for all of us to ponder.
Because their story isn't just about the past, it's about the future.
It's about continuing to build on their legacy.
So thank you all so much for joining us on this deep dive into a truly special piece of Ashley County history.
It's been a fascinating journey.
And we would love to hear your memories and stories connected to the Rose Inn or early Crossett.
Please share them with us.
Because your stories are part of this rich tapestry too.
Let's keep that history alive.
And let's keep building a future that would make Cap and Rose Gates proud.
To Crossett and beyond.
To Ashley County and beyond.